This PowerPoint is on emotion, which is part of chapter 10. A quote I like about emotion is, if you don't manage your emotions, then your emotions will manage you. I think that's a really good reminder that we have to manage our emotions. Otherwise, they're going to take over, and as it says, they'll manage us. So let's define emotion first of all. It is a complex reaction pattern involving experiential, behavioral, and physiological elements by which an individual attempts to deal with a personally significant matter or event. The specific quality of the emotion is determined by the specific significance of the event. For example, if the significance involves threat, fear is likely to be generated. If the significance involves disapproval from another, then shame is likely to be generated. So I know that's kind of a long definition, but I think it's a good one of emotion. So it's important to recognize that there is a difference between emotion and mood. As you can see from the diagram on the left, emotion, as we just defined, is a strong feeling originating from your experience or your circumstances. Or your relationship with others. It's very brief, usually only seconds or minutes when you feel fear or shame or any other emotion, usually caused by a specific event. There's a variety of emotions, as we know. There's, again, fear, guilt, shame, sadness, happiness. It's intense, usually, and it has a rapid onset, so it doesn't last very long and it comes on very rapidly. Whereas mood is a state or quality of feeling at a particular time. It can last for days, so much longer than emotion. Not usually caused by specific events, but usually kind of a longer term thing. There's really only two basic moods, either good or bad. Relatively less intense and has a gradual onset. So lasts a little bit longer and the onset is more gradual than emotion. Let's look at some theories of emotion. The James Lange theory of emotion states that emotions arise as a result of physiological arousal. When we encounter a stimulus, such as you can see on the left, an angry dog barking, it creates a bodily response, which would be your heart rate increasing, and our brain interprets this physical reaction as an emotion. So we do not tremble because we are afraid because we tremble. He hypothesized that the physiological response is what creates the emotion, not the other way around. Again, the physical response comes before the conscious experience of emotion, and that was James Lange's theory. Let's look at another theory. This is the Cannon-Bard theory, which proposes that emotions and physiological reactions occur simultaneously in response to a stimulus. So now you have this growling and barking dog, and he posited that instead of the physical arousal coming first, the fear, the increase in heart rate, that occurs at the same time the fear occurs instead of before. So it challenges earlier theories, James Lange, that we just discussed, by suggesting emotions are not solely dependent on physical responses. They come at the same time as physical responses. The Schachter-Singer two-factor theory adds a cognitive or thoughtful factor to the experience of emotion. According to the Schachter-Singer theory of emotion, there are two key components of emotion: physical arousal, which would be the increased heart rate, and a cognitive label, a thought. That's scary. Our experience of emotion involves a physiological response, which the mind then identifies, for example, as being scary, and then we feel the emotion. So all of these theories sort of have the same aspects. They're just, it's pretty much in a different order. So let's look at another one. The cognitive mediational theory adds appraisal to the process. your brain appraises whether the situation is dangerous or not. The cognitive appraisal theory asserts that your brain first appraises the situation, and the resulting response is an emotion. According to this theory, the sequence of events first involves a stimulus, which would be the growling or snarling dog, followed by thought, which then leads to the simultaneous experience of a physiological response and the emotion. So it just pretty much took our last diagrams and added a cognitive appraisal to it, added a thought to it. So you have a snarling dog, and at the same, the same time your body's reacting with perhaps an increase in heart rate, you're thinking, oh, this is a dangerous situation, and then that leads to the emotion of fear. So let's look at the biology of emotion. The limbic system is the area of the brain involved in emotion and memory. The limbic system includes the hypothalamus, the thalamus, amygdala, and the hippocampus. The hypothalamus plays a role in the activation of the sympathetic nervous system that is a part of any given emotional reaction. The thalamus serves as a sensory relay center whose neurons project to both the amygdala and the higher cortical regions for further processing. The amygdala plays a role in processing emotional information and sending that information on, and the hippocampus integrates that emotional experience with cognition. So let's take a look at the limbic system, and here you'll see all the parts that we just discussed that are involved with memory. Not memory, but emotion. The hypothalamus, the thalamus, the amygdala, and the hippocampus are all involved. Let's look a little further at these parts of the brain. The amygdala is a major processing center for emotions. It also links your emotions to many other brain abilities, especially memories, learning, and your senses. When it doesn't work as it should, it can cause or contribute to disruptive feelings and symptoms. Next, the hippocampus. It's involved in memory, learning, and emotion. Its largest job is to hold short-term memories and transfer them to long-term storage in our brains. But it also plays a role in emotional processing, including anxiety and avoidance behaviors. The thalamus receives information from your amygdala. It sends those emotional messages to the prefrontal cortex, which is a key brain area that helps you manage your feelings and determine your actions. And then lastly, the hypothalamus. One of the functions of the hypothalamus is to convert emotions into physical responses. For example, in cases of fear, individuals may experience a quickened heart rate and shallow breathing. So that's just a further discussion of what all these parts of the brain do in relation to emotion and in relation to other things. As always, if you have questions, please let me know. I don't mind at all to answer those.